Well, I heard a guy working for the government here in America, CIA or NSA agent, was talking. He was on the radio, and he said that I thought it was very important. He said, my job at the agency is I carry a laptop computer, which is filled with all of the hidden dates and mystical symbols and dates. And that's one of my jobs, is to correlate and connect dates and times with the ancient occult world. And he said, I've been doing that for years. It's one of the things I do for the CIA. I just thought that was very interesting, that there are people hired to do nothing but check all the ancient dates of the world, religious observances, all the symbols, and then make it available for the modern day military-industrial complex and governments to start their wars, to end their wars, all kinds of manipulation based on ancient significant dates and mystical symbols. So yeah, there is something to this whole idea that these wars are started on certain days, they end on certain days. It's all part of a blood ritual that's been going on for thousands of years.
So this is where we left off at the end of last video. I was explaining the 31-year gap with a lot of the pop culture we're seeing. So it takes place in the fall of 1988. And 1 year later in the summer of 1989. But I was saying that in 2017 they're remaking it. It originally came out in 1990. The book was originally made in 1986. So in 2017, that's a representation of the 31-year gap. You have the Stephen King original release of the book, the weird dates, the weird release date for that, and just what it's about. An ageless, shape-shifting evil that awakens every 3 decades. What the fuck? I'm talking about a 30-year gap or a 31-year gap. And I mentioned that it could just be 30 years because media takes a while for people to... 1 year after a media release, that's about the time when most people have seen it. So this is a pretty solid 30 or 31 year rotational gap that we're seeing in the media. I'm seeing anyway. I'm trying to present it. And I finished last week's video off by showing you some of the Metal Gear Solid things that I noticed and I'm recalling from last year and how they were creepy. But they were creepy in a weird way last year. It was more personal, and I was hoping that they were releasing another part of the game because the game just seemed broken and unfinished, and it was just odd. It didn't really make any sense. So there were all the controversies, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But this is the ending of the game, and you'll see, if you didn't see the first video, I recommend watching it because you'll be confused. But this is just odd. This is the end of the game on the special feature bonus disc. They show this edited, not even completely edited, like 30% done thing. And the last frame is, you'll see. So again, this is major MGS5 spoilers, or MGSV. I'm not going to call it 5 because the director of the game actually said it isn't 5. It is Metal Gear Solid V for Venom. And he's just a weirdo in general. He's, like I've said, I don't know if I've mentioned it yet in the video, but he's like the ruse. they call him like the Ruse Cruise captain. Like he literally puts everybody that follows him in his mysterious way he produces games. But he was posting. The reason why it's bizarre is because he was posting a ton of stuff around the game's release. Around the time of the game's release, which was 9/1, he was posting images of David Bowie and it was like track 9 of 11, and people were like, oh, 9/11, like the game's gonna continue. Yeah, it's just confusing. This is young Liquid Snake. This is major spoilers if you plan on playing the game, so definitely don't watch this. But it's crucial to what's going on because I think it's really symbolic. This is young Liquid Snake, which liquid would be 33 degrees, right? And he's with, so Solid would be who just took off in the helicopter. And this is Psycho Mantis, supposedly anyway, removing a bacteria that was transmitted through vocalization, vibrations in vocal form. And he's gonna lift off with him because they were letting him just rot here on the island with the disease because they let this crazy disease go. And you see how he's no blood here, no blood at all. Horn isn't that bad, or that was supposed to be shrapnel, but it's all symbolic. So you see in the reflection the thing is actually large, and you got the one eye symbolism. And why this relates to the movie and whatever got everybody going off on a tangent analyzing. I don't know who actually started it, but it's crazy that I've only seen it at the beginning of this summer when I came back to YouTube, when I got a computer recently. So this you got the diamond. I mean, I look at this game in such a new light, especially looking at that final cutscene where he's hanging upside down. But you see the reflection, and that shrapnel piece is like gigantic now, and it's the reflection, and you see the evil. You didn't really see the evil. Let's see if I can go back without. Okay, so, oh my gosh, so he's got the shell. Oh my god. I just like that made me like jump. Oh, you got like the shell. There's like a Fibonacci reference. That's kind of why I jumped back. Well, pretty much your whole world is Fibonacci coding. But the shell just made me kind of like the spiral of the shell and just thinking of all the symbolism behind the shell. But yeah, so they lift off, and yeah, so I mean, his arm typically is red, but like the shadowing doesn't even make it look that red. His face is completely unbloodied, and he has no horn. Oh shit. And then you go back and like look at that. He's got the horn. And he looks like evil, right? Diamond dogs. Alright, so this is like the very, very end. Right before they roll credits.
It's not over yet.
Like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I know the game takes place in 1984, and like the Twin Towers are still up. But are you kidding? Like, isn't it kind of weird? It's crazy. Like, you got the Statue of Liberty, like, right here. Twin Towers. Not yet. It's not over yet. Everyone was freaking out at the time because the game just felt unfinished and it truly was. But now it's again back in the news, and I wouldn't say the news, but like I've seen rumors online saying that the other half of the game is being released. But who the hell knows? But that was what the conspiracy people were like, oh, the game's not over. Like this special edition cutscene, like maybe there's gonna be more. But he disbanded from his company. And they're doing like another project or something. But that could have, well, a lot of people were saying like that Fallout is all fake because the company that Kojima logo you saw with the fox, like that company started 10 years ago. So there are all these like conspiracies going on last year. But I just find it funny that looking deeper into it, like his name is, I mean, he is Japanese, but it's 11 and 8. So you can relate it to Back to the Future just on that. And it's on that 31-year thing. And because the stuff that you guys don't know yet is, if you don't follow this guy, which I don't think anybody really would unless they're like a gamer, he's like really all the time he's on Twitter. So yeah, here is his English thing, and look at what his tweet is today. I like pop in. He's got it on his neck. Oh shit. This is like a club. Like I said, he's a weirdo. You know, he posts food, all types of crap, sheep. But while he released his game, people were all like trying to like decode this shit. A sheep again? Like, what is he trying to say? I'm gonna see if I can go back to his later days. Like he loves movies. I don't know if I show you. 70% of his body is movies. He's had that as his thing for a while, and he's like a game designer. Yeah, so he tweets a bunch. 1985. What's this? See, last year, this is what I'm trying to say. Last year was 1984. This year is 1985. Next year will be 1986. Because guess what the 31-year anniversary is going to be this January? It's going to be the 31-year anniversary of the Challenger. So next year is 86. You see how it's a giant wheel? But yeah, so 1984, 5. I mean, that stuff I can't read. So, yeah, he likes Predators, I guess. But look at David Bowie. This is now. Let me just try to get to where I was talking about, because he tweets so much shit about movies. It's ridiculous. J.J. Abrams, what is this? While mentioning Singularity, the game design is-ish backstage. Okay, as I'm scrolling through, just trying to get to last year, which is going to take forever. This is, he happened to tweet this September 1. New Order. Alright? 5/8. But like, what I'm trying to get to is before Bowie had died, it was a picture of Bowie and it said 9/11. And this was before Bowie died. I'm not saying that he foresaw the death, but I've already seen enough information on Bowie, and Bowie's death just seemed to come out of nowhere. Like, and you know, I'm not doubting that he died, but it's just weird that Kojima predicts trends like crazy. Nano machines. It's talking about stuff like a lot. Wow, it's really graphic. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm gonna stop again because unless I find something. So, this is an opportunity for me to like show the symbolism in the exclamation point here that forms a V. They're showing you like the duality like opening up, and he said it's not, like I said before, it's not MGS5. He said it's MGSV, and I thought this was a cool graphic because it's like the splitting apart of the exclamation, like I said, the V, and it looks like pointing down, and a lot of people there was a lot of different theories on what the game represented, but if you don't want to play the game, you can watch those videos and breakdowns of what people thought, but they're really creepy, and probably none of them go deep enough and do the real numerology and shit, because it's definitely heavily themed and heavily coded for sure. Okay, here's weird. John Carpenter, who is a known like Freemason film creator, he created They Live. But look at this, lost themes. The Twin Towers, you know what I'm saying here? Lost Themes remix. It's very rare. John Carpenter's The Fog, Halloween. Cool, I guess. If you like collecting Freemason shit. Alright, yeah. So, him holding a globe. He's got a thing. So he's showing Steven Spielberg's It's Been 24 Years Since, what do you see? They Live. The Shape of Water. I don't know what that is. Skull Shirt. So, before I forget, the cover track of the album was Diamond Dogs, and that's the song that was in Metal Gear Solid 5. It was in the game, and I don't know if his version of the song, I don't think it was, but Bowie does a version of the song, The Man Who Stole the World, and that's how the game started. You're in a hospital bed and you woke up. And it was like The Man Who Stole the World. And it was 1984 themed, the game. I won't get into it. You could look into videos if you want to get spoiled, or you can play the game. But it's very good. From a researcher's point of view, and people who do numerology and just love themes and stuff like that, it definitely is something to watch and look into. But as you see, it's his 8th studio album. As the titles indicated, the 1984 theme was prominent. I don't know what Diamond Dogs, how that refers to 1984. I want to see I want to see if I can see anything. So, 1984. So Diamond Dogs is the second track. 1984 would have been the 9th track, or number 3 on side 2, and Big Brother would be 10. And so it looks like it was an 11 track thing. So what now if I remember, I think around any time between 9/1 and 9/11, I think it was actually earlier than 9/11. It could have been like 9/6 or 9/1, or 9/1 it would have been too early. But there was a website that Kojima or Konami Productions claimed to not have responsibility for, but it was doing a 9/11. You can maybe look up information on this, but there was a website that had a timer counting down to 9/11 last year. For people were saying it was going on for a while. And I just found it odd because it was the last literal thing you see on his game, not even in the game, but in the special features version of the game, was the Twin Towers. So there was this site that was gaining attention after that started spreading on the internet that had, it was counting down to exactly 9/11. So people were associating it with Kojima, and that wasn't the only reason why. There were other reasons, and then people were like, "Whoa, it's not him because he wouldn't do something distasteful like that. He wouldn't have a countdown timer like drop down on 9/11, like basically the 14th anniversary." Oh, this album has a really close release date, not an exact year, but to the third installment of Back to the Future 3. Back to the Future 3, third installment. That comes out May 5th. 25th, not 24th. I'm sure there's a shit ton of things that could be looked into this. Like the lyrics. Let me see. Man Who Sold the World was another. I don't know if it was his version, but that song was in Metal Gear Solid 5, and this is track 8 on that album. So this was last year, September 11th, almost noon on Game Zone, but I couldn't. Was just trying to search for the actual tweet. Maybe it's linked in this article, but it's mentioned in the article, and so is that website I talked about, which the website happened to be ingsoc.org, and INSOC, it has to do with 1984. Political party held by Big Brother and George Orwell's 1984. They share very similar themes, like Big Brother is watching you poster. It's all, this was a big topic. It wasn't a secret. But the INSOG was first created March 1st, 2015. So, what was confusing is it had a countdown timer to September 11th last year, and was really hinting, see how it was a blank 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 game that was on the website, and people were like, "Oh, a Hideo Kojima," they were filling it in, and we were like, wow, someone had to have worked for the company to have made that website. How would they know the final frame of the game was the Twin Towers, and then some site related to possibly Kojima releasing something else? It was odd, but now it's even more odd because look at here, they mention it. Now the two coincidences aren't interesting enough, but Kojima threw some new fuel to add to the fire to make this crazy theory more grounded. Kojima tweeted a pic out of his phone that displayed David Bowie Diamond Dog's album with the number 1984, which was the ninth track of an 11-track album. I showed you more of that, and it shows you on his little music player that it always shows you what track /11. So everybody was having an absolute meltdown. If he's the master of riddles, so people love to just delve into what is going on. Oh my gosh! So yeah, there's proof in the article. I'll link the article. Let's see if I can find the actual tweet. I guess this is it. September 9th. September 9th. 9/9. And this would break down to 8, but 9/9. He tweets it on 9/9. Let's go to it. See? 1984. That's all he said. And this is what he showed. 30th anniversary. Last year was the 31st anniversary of 1984. Because this came out in 1974. But, damn, I mean, there's the... I found it, you know? Yeah, that's the tweet. So, September 9th. You know, you see... So, it's just freaking weird as fuck, dude. Like, I would love for... I hope Polarization Nation, I hope some of these guys that do this coding will watch this. Because I'll, you know, as long as you credit me, just make a more polished video on this. Connect this, please. Do something. Get this out there. I have barely any viewers. I have 162 subscribers. But this is literally crazy. This was last year before Bowie died. Now I don't even think the dude is dead. Because you got the 9/9 coding. And you got him flashing 9/11. And everybody was freaking out and thinking that, oh, 9/11, he was going to release the game, or, you know, I won't even get into it. But there's the tweet. There's the proof. You got to be fucking kidding me. Bowie died on January 10th, 2016. I mean, January 1. Obviously, 10 is another one. And then you have 2016 breaking down a 9. So it's another form of 9/11. And I don't know. I'm sure somebody has covered this. Somebody has had to have said this. On an 18-month battle with cancer. I mean, cancer's sign is the 6/9. That was definitely covered. That definitely, without a doubt. And Space Odyssey. Oh, hold on. Space Oddity, 1969. Oh my god. I forgot this. This was in the video. Somebody's video I watched. Must have been Polarization Nations. His birthday's the 8th, so he turned 69 and died. Like, 69 is the sign of cancer. I mean... This guy, Bowie's still alive. Bowie's alive. He just didn't want to be alive as a musician anymore. They're fucking tired of it. Michael Jackson might even be alive. Who the hell knows at this point? It's just so weird. What makes me mad too is I couldn't search tweets. I didn't know you couldn't search tweets. But I should have freaking screenshotted it. And it was track 9 of 11. Of like 11 track CD of Bowie's, and people were like, oh, because the last video in the game in the special features was the Twin Towers 9/11. Like, it must mean there's more to the game. Like, it was all this other stuff. But now looking back at it, it's like, was he predicting? Like, the game was a lot about 1984. About one world government. I mean, I can get into it, but a lot of the main theming of the game was about words and how ideas could spread and cause nations to be controlled just by words, basically. And it's so funny because I've delved into the decrypting this summer and I've seen a bunch of different channels on decrypting. And I think numerology and that's just the beginning. Like, you can look at stuff in pictorial form and just break it all down. I was just going crazy looking at all the different ways that you can recreate letters from pieces and what each letter almost symbolizes. It's crazy. It literally, you can go crazy doing this. That's why I am probably gonna make this video, put it out, polish it up, because this is a rough draft. I'm putting it out because I honestly feel like something is brewing or about to happen right now. And it's all pointing to all the top creators. It's all connected. They all know what's going on. They're in the know. That's it. And he is just, Hideo Kojima is just showing that to the world and those that are looking. There's so many different layers to understanding.
And if you have a golf ball size consciousness, when you read a book, you'll have a golf ball size understanding. When you look out, a golf ball size awareness. And when you wake up in the morning, a golf ball size wakefulness. But if you could expand that consciousness, then you read the book, more understanding. You look out, more awareness. And when you wake up, more wakefulness.
Episode 51. And his name, Hideo Kojima, that's 8 and 11, so it's 88. Yeah, so this is their logo. From 0 to Omega, all countries are bound together. This war's peace. 1984 reference. When he says 0 to Omega, he's referencing the prequel to this game, which was actually called Ground Zeroes. Go figure, right? And then he's holding his finger up, looking one-eye symbolism. So I had never noticed this before, but see where I'm highlighting? There's like a nostril. It looks like a face there, and you guys can look at the video yourself and like pause and crap. I never noticed like a face. And then you have him upside down.
I'm sure you'll see the bigger picture eventually.
Eventually. Maybe we'll see the bigger picture, right? So yeah, I'm definitely thinking of this in a new light with him hanging upside down. It's real similar to what they talk about in the videos. I'll just go right to that.